welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie. It is time to talk about the next month's new releases. Now, while I was researching, I don't know how publishing works, okay? But it seemed like there were less big releases this month. So I wonder if everyone in publishing is like, let's give these kids a break for summer. I was able to scrounge up like 18 books here that I am excited for. There are a couple that are like maybes for me, but I want to chit chat about them, okay? So let's go. As always, there's a mix of genres here. I really like general fiction, romance, mystery, thriller. I don't know if there's any horror on this list, but there is some fantasy and fantasy romance. And as always, it's going to be broken up into release date. Let me scoot on over for The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This cover is very intriguing, that pink drip. Concerning. This is a mystery thriller, but mostly it sounds like a family drama, and I live for the family drama. I really do. This is about a very rich family who owns pretty much the whole town, including a summer camp, and I think it's in like upstate New York or something like that. Their 13-year-old daughter goes to summer camp and then she goes missing. They can't find her. It's set in 1975, so that's exciting. I don't know why the 70s just seemed like a vibe. I was not alive for it. So yeah, it is a problem that this girl has gone missing because her family owns the camp and they pretty much employ everyone in the town. So everyone's like scrambling to find this girl. But the weird thing is that I think 14 years ago, this girl's brother went to this camp and also went missing. We delve into the secrets of the Van Laar family, which it's just a funny name. There will probably be discussions about class and like intergenerational trauma. Generational. What's intergenerational? Did I make that up? I just want to know the details. I want to know this dirty secrets of this family. And for some reason, that drip of pink is making me feel like there's fantastical things going on, which I know I make that up in every synopsis that I read. But come on, that drip. Next, we have one I'm not sure I'm going to love, but I'm definitely going to try it. This is Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ritchie. And these are the authors of the Addicted series and the Calloway Sisters series, if you're familiar with that. I think they're on Kindle Unlimited, maybe not. Actually, no, I don't think they are because I had to buy every single one of these on Kindle because I did get addicted to them. I don't think I ever finished that series because I think they started doing like re-releases of the same story but with someone else's point of view. I only care about that if it's Twilight. I'm sorry. But let's get back on topic. This book is coming out. It's the beginning of a new series that they're writing, so I just need to see if that was like a one-hit wonder, which is crazy because I think I read 7 of those books. So clearly it was like a 7-hit wonder for me, but I want to go into another world with them. Now this one seems to also be revolved around families. Someone just looked in my window and saw my ring light. Oh my god, please go away, please go away. Our main character in this story is named Phoebe and she has a best friend named Haley. Their families grew up together and they are like involved in crime. When they grow up, they decide to run away together so that they can escape these messy lives, and they move to this small town. I'm picturing Stars Hollow. Everything is just chilled. They're getting jobs. Like, how cute is this? And then Haley's brother comes to town and he's a bad boy. And apparently he and Phoebe, his sister's best friend, our main character, have some sort of past. He's everything she wants but nothing she can have. I don't know what that means, but he is trouble and she really doesn't want him around. He's gonna ruin their innocent Stars Hollow fun. So I'm sure maybe some thriller aspects are gonna come up, which will be really fun because you know I'm a mafia bitch. Mafia romance bitch, that is. And they'll just have a fun, cute little small town life. I wrote in my notes, it's about wanting the simple life with your bestie and her hot brother in Stars Hollow. That's like my wet dream. Okay. Next up we have The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. It's a new fantasy romance series, and guess what? This is inspired heavily by the story of Mulan. It seems like it's gonna be a little darker and a little different. Our main character's name is Mei Lin, and instead of her dad being like this old, sweet, loving dude, he's opium addicted, and he sells Mei Lin off to an abusive man so that he can escape the draft. So yeah, we're getting dark immediately. Mei Lin, of course, instead decides to disguise herself as a man and join the army. I don't think it's actually Imperial China. I think it's like a made-up land, so maybe fantasy because Mushu was kind of in this.
I am the powerful, the pleasurable, the indestructible Mushu.
She has visions of this dragon spirit. I don't know that he's going to be our lovable, chaotic Mushu. I mean, Mushu was a little selfish, but hopefully he'll become our bestie. So Mei Lin joins the army or whatever it's called. She makes friends. She starts training. I really hope there's a montage scene. I find those so inspiring because I'm just like sitting on my couch listening to them do like 100 push-ups. And I'm like, get it, yes. I think she gets a crush on her training partner. And immediately when I read this, I was like, excuse me, where's her crush on the general's son? I know that's probably problematic because he's in a position of power, but I think it was just ingrained to me how hot it was between between Mulan and her man. I forget this man's name. I'm so sorry. But the tension between these two fueled my love of romance. I'm so sure the seed of my romance loving is in this movie.
It should have been me there under the neon light. Kissing you slow.
Anyway, so I was a little disappointed at first, but then listen to this. Obviously, she's in a military, so she's like, oh my god, did I just trade another prison for this prison? Like, I don't think it's looking good. Plus, she's like pretending to be someone she's not. It says Maylim will need to decide whom to trust. Sky, who inspires her loyalty and love, that's her training buddy that she has a crush on. The sea dragon spirit, aka Mushu, I hope that's his name, who has his own murky agenda, or an infuriating, listen to this, enemy prince who makes her question everything she once knew. I think this is the enemy prince, the son of a king, the son of a general. I'm sorry, that's the same thing. I bet he's so hot.
All right, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
It's funny too when I think about childhood crushes that I had on fictional characters from movies, because it's not like I just had a crush on this man, although like, yes. I had a crush on their love for each other. And I don't know how to explain that, but I feel like girls get it. They get it. I am wondering at what point they're gonna cut this off and create it a series. I'm so curious about that. So I will be reading this. I need to find out this romance. I hate that that's like what's really driving this, but let's just call a spade a spade. Is that how that expression goes? Let me know. Next up, we have The Villain Edit by Lori DeVore. This is a drama, and I think there's a romance in here. I am very skeptical about this because it is based around a reality television show, which just makes me so uninterested. I don't like watching reality TV, mostly because you get so sucked in and it's annoying. But I also don't love the idea of it in a book, but I haven't really given it a chance. And this sounds very juicy. And it says it's for fans of Fleabag meets Emily Henry meets The Bachelor. And I'm sold. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing to myself because I know I'm like annoyed that I want to read this. Our main character's name is Jacqueline, Jack for short, and she's kind of flailing. She's had to move out of New York City because she failed in her career, I think as a writer. She writes romance, and so she decides to become a contestant on this show. It's like The Bachelor. I don't think they call it that because they would get sued or something, but she's thinking that she could win it, or at least get far enough along that she could sort of get a name for herself, kind of like The Bachelor now, where the contestants are all hoping to become influencers out of this by the recognition. And she's thinking that she's a romance author, so she could completely write some awesome dialogue for herself and really hone in a role. But the thing is that she had just hooked up with someone before the show. Turns out he's the producer on the show. Anyway, she starts hooking up with this producer. They're falling in love while she's pretending to fall in love with this contestant dude. And I don't know why the producer is doing this, but she is made out to look like the villain. Like they're editing it to make her, it's the villain edit. She is becoming hated by the entire population of people watching this show. I'm very curious as to how that's happening, because if her producer lover is on it, did she scorn him? Like I don't know. I couldn't hook up with someone who's making me look bad, you know what I mean? Her rep is going down the toilet. She's scared what's gonna happen if this random bachelor finds out that she's been kind of lying and also cheating on him, but also I think she really likes this producer guy, so it's just a mess. And she's like, oh my god, I have put myself in this situation. I'm fucking up my own life, which is I think where the Fleabag situation is coming from. I'm really hoping for some humor, because that's, I mean, Fleabag is the perfect show, first of all, but it's the perfect mix of really sad and really funny. Oh my god, that show. It's almost doing a disservice putting that this is like Fleabag, because now I have all these expectations and I don't know that I'm gonna get it from this book. But it sounds like a drama-filled time, so I could probably just get down with that. Then we have Pink Slime by Fernanda Trias. This is translated by Heather Cleary. Oh, this is horror. Okay, we have a horror. It's horror fiction sci-fi. It sounds literary. This was originally published in 2020 in Latin America, and I think it is kind of a quarantining story, which I have really avoided for the past couple of years just because because I feel like I haven't read any good ones and it's just kind of cringe. I don't know what it is about it, but this one sounds so good. There's a plague that's going through the wind. There's like storms that are making it grow stronger, and so people are hunkering down. Because it's airborne, the food and like the crops and everything's shit. So a secretive corporation creates this pink slime, which you're supposed to eat. And it's very cheap and it's pretty much the only thing everyone can eat, but no one knows what it's made out of, and it's supposed to be like nasty. I don't know if it's nasty tasting, nasty smelling. Oh, I don't know. I need to know. The character that we're witnessing all of this with, she's a caretaker. Her name isn't in the synopsis, so that'd be kind of interesting if she's unnamed the whole time. I love it when books do that. Even if it's not a part of the plot, it's like, oh, a little intrigue. Anyway, she's taking care of her sick mother. She's stuck with her ex-husband in this house, and also she nannies for a boy, and his parents were just like, no, like keep him there. Like we don't want him around. It's really sad sounding. It sounds like it's gonna be drama filled with like the ex-husband. It says it's also gonna be funny, which has me very excited because I wasn't expecting that. But also there's this menacing pink slime that we're gonna find out what it's made out of. It's probably like people. I don't know, that's my guess. This book, for some reason, even though I've been avoiding like COVID or widespread disease quarantine stories for years, I am now so excited for this book. On to the second week of July, we have a book called State of Paradise by Laura Vanderberg. This is a literary sci-fi, which is very exciting. This is another pandemic sounding story, but it sounds really weird and futuristic and I don't know, like not based in real life at all. So let's read the synopsis together. It's also set in South Florida, which just gives everything a little menacing but also drunken like vibes. I'm kind of interested. Along with her husband, a ghostwriter for a famous thriller author returns to her mother's house in Florida town where she grew up. As the summer heat sets in, she wrestles with family secrets and memories of her own troubled youth. Her mercurial sister, who lives next door, spends a growing amount of time using Mind's Eye, a virtual reality device provided to citizens of the town of Electra, a tech company in South Florida, during the doldrums of a recent pandemic. Ew. Just the word pandemic, like, ew, get away. But it's not just the ominous cats, her mother's burgeoning cult, like where's this stuff coming from, or the fact that her belly button has become an increasingly deep cavern. Oh, I look a little evil in this light. Something is off in the town, and it probably has to do with the posters of missing citizens spread throughout the streets. During a violent rainstorm, the writer's sister goes missing for several days. When she returns, sprawled on their mother's lawn, and speaking of another dimension, interesting, the writer is forced to investigate not only what happened to her sister and the other people that are missing, but also the uncanny connections between Electra, the famous author, and reality itself. It just seems so chaotic. It seems messy. It seems futuristic in a fun way. I need to know more about this belly button situation. Next, The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons. This is a fantasy, I think fantasy romance. It's clearly trying to gather in all the Fourth Wing fans. For example, there's a frustratingly appealing dragon rider ringleader. I wonder what his name is. Lightning banter, dragons, of course, and a little bit of heat. I had a lot of fun with Fourth Wing. There are some things that I don't like about that book. So if this can have the things I did like and also add to it, because this is a fantasy writer, so I'm thinking the fantasy aspects are gonna be so much richer in here. That's my guess. I don't know, who knows? And this also sounds a little bit more questy. So our main character is a loner. She lives in the jungle and she has a Titan Drake by her side. Is that a dragon? I don't know enough about this shit. I'm sorry. She is just a survivalist. She's living on her own, and I think she gets kidnapped by something, and she's rescued by this group of dragon riders. She thinks that they're just rescuing her and then gonna drop her off. That's what she wants because she doesn't really like depending on other people. But they beg her to help them with this quest to go into the skies and like steal a hoard from a dragon. Except the owner of this hoard is some woman who wants our main character dead. And I kind of hope this is the romance part. Like maybe this evil wench is like her lover. I also don't know if this is YA, so I could have just made that creepy. I'm so sorry. It just sounds like a very questy, more light-hearted plot that is less political and more fantastical, and that has me excited. Okay, this one, All This and More by Peng Shepherd. I really don't know if this is going to be for me, but I want to mention it because there's something in here that could make or break this. This is about a woman whose life is pretty sad and pathetic, and she is just struggling. So she decides to become a contestant on this show where they use quantum technology to allow the contestants to change different parts of the past so that it can affect the present. Obviously, it's like the Midnight Library where you go down a bunch of different paths and you see which one you want. I hate these stories because they're so repetitive, and the answer is always, oh, can I just have my life like it was? I want to go back to how it was before. The beauty is in the journey, and I would blah blah blah. I don't care. The thing that has me intrigued about this is that in the synopsis it says the reader, aka me, gets to decide what she does next in her fate. To me, this means that it's going to be like those Goosebump books where you go down different paths. It says, do you think they should go in the quicksand? Go to page 300. And if you think they should go around into the jungle, go to page 350. Can you imagine? I love those books. Also, why is quicksand in all the kids' stories? Like, what happened to quicksand? I don't know. So if I can choose this adventure, I will be reading it. And if not, this is going in the bin. If you do end up reading this and somehow fall onto this video, please let me know what you thought if it goes against the trope that is being told here. Next up is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. This is the author of Forget Me Not, which I gave 5 stars last year. I think it was just the mix of what was going on in my life at the time, my manic ass mood that day. Like, I was just on another level. And also just the writing and how fun this was. But the thing that impresses me so much is that that book had so many tropes and things that came up in the book where as they're introduced, I'm like, oh, I really don't like that in a romance book. And every single time I said that, I was proved wrong. Julie Soto was the exception for all my exceptions, and she was my 5-star baby. But let me tell you what it's about. It's about Gwen and Xander, and they are both orchestra musicians. I think they both play the cello. They've had very different introductions into these musical worlds, and in class, I think. He is basically a Nepo musician baby who's had everything handed to him, and it's like written in the stars basically that he's going to become a famous musician, and she's had to really struggle to get where she is, and so she has some sort of resentment towards that. But also, they have been in class together, or in orchestra, I guess they work together for over a year, and he doesn't know who she is. Embarrassing. Oh my god. And then she overhears him talking shit about her. Maybe not talking shit, maybe he was critiquing her, but she did not take it very kindly. Like, no. And I think he gets annoyed with her because she beats him out for first chair, which is very juicy nerd stuff. Oh my god, yeah. I was in band. I get the importance of that, I really do. The thing is, they're so hot for each other, and I think they start hooking up, but it says as they begin to explore their feelings for one another, suddenly their box office dynamite and the fragile romance that's growing between them is in danger of being crushed beneath a publicity stunt, which makes me think they are going to have to like fake date or like use their newfound relationship to promote the orchestra. That part of the plot sounds really not something for me, but I have hope that Julie Soto can prove me wrong yet again. So we'll see. We'll see if it's hot. Next we have The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. This is the author of The Wishing Game that came out last year that everyone loved. So I have high expectations of this. Also, I still have the book on my shelf. I haven't read it yet and I need to. The Wishing Game was like a retelling or highly inspired by Willy Wonka. Willow Wonka. That's Willy's little sister. Okay, Allie, stop laughing. That wasn't funny. The Lost Story is inspired by Narnia. I am so intrigued. So back when they were kids, these 2 boys lived in Virginia and they disappeared for 6 months. No one knew anything about where they went, and suddenly they reappeared. One of the friends has no memory of what happened, but he has this unsettling feeling that he cannot explain. And the other remembers literally everything. 15 years go by, and one of them, the one who doesn't remember anything but has like subconsciously been trying to deal with this all, becomes an artist, and then the other one that does remember things becomes a private investigator to help with missing children. Right now he's trying to find out what happened to this woman named Emily's little sister, and he thinks the same thing happened that happened to him and his friend. And so he calls up his buddy and he's like, we gotta crack the case. And I think they're gonna re-enter with Emily into this land, and I just want to know what's going on here. Mr. Tumnus, by the way, I love what's his face, James McAvoy. Like, I love him, but I hate Mr. Tumnus. He haunted me as a child. He was so sinister, and I think M. Night Shyamalan, when he hired him for that movie Split or whatever, he saw the potential for the creepiness of James McAvoy, because Mr. Tumnus, jail. Next up is The Melancholy of Untold History by Min-Soo Kang. This is a debut novel, but it sounds like it's going to be way too smart for me. But if my I'm getting tired. No, I'm just dumb. My pea-sized brain can handle this. I think this could be a 5-star. There's like 4 different stories, but also being told by a historian, was a dead wife, and like his partner. It's all over the place, but listen just to this blurb. Spanning 3,000 years and multiple voices with tales within tales woven expertly together, swoon. This book reveals a people and its individuals who seek to confront the hardships of life through storytelling, mixing the East Asian mythos with a postmodern approach to standard sci-fi fantasy narrative tropes. Min-Soo Kang has created a challenging, beautiful, sad, humorous, and untimely, unforgettable novel of love, grief, and myth-making. And I think there's like gods being talked about. I have been so obsessed with any story that gives me stories within stories. I just eat it up, and this is a whole book of it. I think this could truly steal my mind and heart and possibly soul if I'm smart enough to I can't talk. Clearly, I can't even speak, so I don't know if I'm gonna be capable of reading this. We'll see. Oh my gosh, guess who's coming out with a book this month? Rainbow Rowell. Yes, I'm so excited. This is an adult novel, but I'm wondering if we're gonna have like timeline flashbacks. Our main characters are Shiloh and Carrie. Back in the day, they were best friends. They were probably secretly in love with each other, but they were best friends, and that warms my heart. They had great plans for their future. Shiloh wanted to go to college and become an actress, and Carrie, he wanted to go and join the Navy. She ended up going to college and he joined the Navy, but I don't think they ever talked again after they were 19 years old because something happened. I feel like I've seen this sort of second chance a lot. It doesn't make it any less interesting, and Rainbow Rowell writing it? Okay. The present day is 14 years later. Shiloh is now 32 years old. She has 2 kids. She's getting divorced. She's living back in her hometown, and she gets an invitation to a wedding, and she goes with the specific hope that Carrie is there. And there's not really much else in the synopsis, but I'm going to be reading this because Rainbow Rowell has written it. I'm hoping for some swoon. I'm hoping for angst and pining, but also some lighthearted, warm-hearted wholesomeness. We'll see. We're almost done. We have like 3 more books to talk about. This one is called Nicked by M.T. Anderson. I've never heard of it, but it sounds just goofy enough to be instantly lovable. It's a funny, queer, historical heist, sort of fantasy, but also based on true events. I have so many questions. It's set in 1087 in Bari, which I think is in Italy. I'm just gonna read the synopsis to you, okay? Because it's fun. A pox is sweeping through the Italian city of Bari, when a lowly monk is visited by Saint Nicholas in his dreams. He interprets the vision as a call to serve the sick, but his superiors and the power brokers they serve have different plans for the tender-hearted brother Nicephorus. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Enter Tyan, a charismatic treasure hunter renowned for liberating holy relics from their tombs. The 700-year-old bones of Saint Nicholas are rumored to weep a mysterious liquid that can heal the sick, Tyan says. For the humble price of a small fortune, he will steal the bones and deliver them to Bari, curing the plague and restoring glory to the fallen city. And Nicephorus, the dreamer, this monk dude, will be his guide. What follows is a heist for the ages as Nicephorus is swept away on strange tides and alongside even stranger bedfellows, wink wink, I'm being so extra, I'm sorry, to commit sacrilegious theft. Based on real historical accounts, I need to know more about that. Nicked is a swashbuckling saga, love that word, a medieval novel noir, a meditation on the miraculous, and a monastic meet cute filled with wide-eyed wonder at the world that awaits beyond our own borders. It's kind of sounding like Tangled. We have this very innocent character and like a thief who's very charming. Maybe they'll fall in love. I don't know if that's the romance and the bedfellows, but one can hope. On to the last Tuesday of July. I have 2 books to talk about. First, The Wedding People by Alison Espock. This is fiction with maybe some romance in it. This cover called to me. This takes place in Rhode Island on some fancy resort. There's this huge wedding taking place there that weekend. One of the people that shows up is this woman. Her name's Phoebe, and everyone is assuming that she's a part of this wedding because she's dressed so fancy, but she's not. She just came here because she thought it would be a vibe, and she had planned to come here with her husband, and he's no longer with her. I don't know if that means he died or he left or what. I don't know whose point of view we're going into or if it's like a third person narrative, but it says that even though Phoebe's kind of gate crashing this wedding, the bride is like so best friends energy with her right away, and they start confessing all these secrets to each other, and that's all it said. It just sounds drama filled but also fun and light. It says it's uproariously, absurdly funny and devastatingly tender about the winding paths we can take to places we never imagined and the chance encounters it sometimes takes to reroute us. It sounds just like a sweet summer vibe. But also, if you say something's uproariously, absurdly funny, it better be fucking funny because now my expectations are that I will actually laugh out loud and not not just lol. Next, we have a P-Dug. P-Dug is on the scene yet again. Penelope Douglas, queen of fucked up family romances. Sorry, I'm trying to like spy on my neighbor here. Has a book coming out called Five Brothers, and I was unsure because I think all of her books are being republished, but I think this is a brand new book. I started reading the synopsis to this and I was like, no, this is gonna be fun if we read it out together. So hang on tight. I did see that it is a dark romance, maybe reverse harem, and yes, I think there are brothers. She's got a thing. I don't know. I'm keep reading it, so apparently I have a thing too. Macon is the oldest, 31, ex-Marine. I don't think I've ever seen him smile. Army, interesting name, is 28, a single dad with the most beautiful green eyes. He has no idea who he is, if not a Jaeger brother. Iron, another very interesting name, will be in prison soon. You'd never think it to meet him. He's a nice guy, actually, but he can't stop reacting to everything. Dallas is the one that I hate. 21, cruel and selfish. He takes and then throws away whatever's left, including me. I ad-libbed that part, sorry. And Trace is mine. Or he was for about 2 seconds. No one can tame him for long. Not that I ever wanted to. It was fun, but now I need to go home. Back to my side of the tracks. Oh my god. This is how... The funniest thing is that I am sort of making fun of this, but I know I'm going to be buying this and reading it. Away from the swamps and these men, to my parents' big house on my clean street. Interesting way to phrase that. Where I'm never dirty or messy or hot. And I will, period. You will what? I'll leave first thing tomorrow morning, period. I just want to crash on the couch tonight, period. Their house is dark and quiet. Everyone else is asleep, except for one. He sees me crying and comes at me from behind. I let him wrap his arms around my body and hold me tightly. His breath is on my neck, his fingers in my hair, and he doesn't stop there. I don't think it was Trace. So yeah, this is for the sick girls like me. It really is. And I'm not ashamed. I will be reading P-Dug till I die. Ooh, that last one really got my spirits up. For some reason, I've been so annoyed with myself the entire time I've been filming. It's taken me hours to film this video. Usually, new release videos, I get like what is that word? Energiated. What the fuck is wrong with me? I get more energized and more confident with speaking, but for some reason today, my brain function has been just like dying down the more I talk. So I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna go. Please let me know if you're excited for any of these. I know I've left a few books out. I put a few on my want to read list on Goodreads if you want to follow me down there. The link is down below, as well as my Instagram. Now that it's not my birthday month, I am going to be trying to not buy all these books. So let me just say my top 2, I think, that maybe I'll purchase. I have a few of these on NetGalley. I really want to read Nicked. That just seems fun. It seems historical. It seems like a vibe. And maybe sexy. Like, hello, everything's here. I know I'm going to be reading that Penelope Douglas, so that's going to be one that I purchase. And then I think Pink Slime. Those are the 3 that I'm most excited for of this group. Let me know what your top 3 of these are, or, you know, just tell me what you're reading. Just say hi if you want. I hope y'all are having a good start to your summer, and I will see you later. Goodbye.